Hello, this is Nia with the Rainbow Cauldron, and today we have a client reading for SB. SB's reading will have to do with love, clarity, and advice on how to move forward. She's interested in a man whom she feels is interested in her as well, but she's been slow to act on the relationship and is held back by a third person involved in the relationship. She wants to get moving on the relationship, but isn't sure how to proceed. Okay, so for this reading, I decided to use my Crystal Visions tarot deck, which is often my go-to deck for love readings. I did this reading earlier today along with a mini spell for clarity for SB. Pictures of that will be at the end of this video. For the spell, I used a pink and yellow candle. The yellow candle is, again, for clarity and clear focus, to allow SB to have a clear mind so that she can make the best decisions for her. And the pink candle is, of course, for love. Both candles had SB's name inscribed on them. Here for the video, we only have the yellow candle, as the pink one burned out completely during the spell. So the rest of this candle will be going for the video here. We also have 4 stones, rhodonite for self-esteem and confidence. Tiger's Eye is for clear focus and clarity, and the rose quartz is for love. And we also have a quartz crystal here to help direct the energy, and it's pointing at the tiger's eye. All right, so let's get to the reading. I chose a reading having to do with you specifically, SB, and pinpointing your feelings about this potential relationship and the general compatibility between you two. The first 5 cards will be drawn together and then read separately, and then I will draw the final 3 cards, which will be read together and will give some insight on how you should proceed and what's to come. Okay, so your gut feeling is the Star. How you feel physically toward him is the 6 of Wands. Your emotional compatibility is the Hierophant. Your intellectual feelings about the relationship is the Lovers. And your spiritual compatibility is the 8 of Wands. Okay. Your gut feeling is the Star. You have a lot of hope for the future with this relationship. You really feel that it will work out and that it will be a fresh start for the both of you. The Star represents a sort of calm after the storm. As it follows the Tower in the deck, a card of destruction, you feel that your relationship would heal a lot of wounds for you and will bring a sense of calmness and peacefulness. So you feel pretty positive about the future of this relationship. Your physical response and compatibility is the 6 of Wands. You two are very physically compatible. This card typically has to do with victory, confidence, things like that. He really does make you feel confident, strong, and passionate. Wands in general have a lot to do with passion and excitement and movement. He makes you feel sexy and strong. Great physical connection between you two. These next 2 cards, this one and this one, they're interesting as they almost feel like they're in the opposite positions. This position represents your emotional feelings and compatibility, and yet we have a very unemotional card here. While this position and card are the opposite. It's a non-emotional position with a very emotional card. Here in the spot that represents your emotional connection, we have the Hierophant. And Hierophant has to do with teaching, mentoring, being a guide. And that's kind of how you feel with him. You feel that you are more emotionally mature than him, and you often have to guide him and mentor him. And if a relationship ever comes to be between you two, you would likely need to school him, so to speak, in how to be emotionally available and even attempt to change him to be more relationship material. You feel up to this challenge and you feel like you could do it, but this could be a potential problem in your relationship if you feel that you need to change him too much or if he depends on you too much often. So that's probably an emotional hurdle between you two in this relationship. You just feel a more emotionally mature than him. Now, when it comes to your intellectual compatibility and your intellectual feelings, we have the Lovers, a very emotional card for a very unemotional position. Now, with a love reading, the Lover's card is pretty ideal to show up. That's the card you want to see in a love reading. The fact that it shows up here means that there is a love and a desire between you two. You both want a relationship. However, this showing in the intellectual position indicates that your emotions about your hopes for the future with him often clouds your intellect about this, the logical issues with the relationship. And the fact that there's a lot of passion here is also what's clouding the logical centers of your brain. Um, and the other side of this card that I feel I couldn't help but connect the Lovers to the negative side of this whole issue, and the fact that there is another woman involved, and that could kind of indicate him and her here, and um, you're very aware of this, and it's what's been blocking your progress and moving forward with him, and you know that's what's kind of been blocking your movement forward. So that's what we see here with these two cards. These two cards are very, very positive, and this one's pretty positive as well, which I'll get to in a second. That you're very physically compatible. There's a lot of hopes and stuff for the future, but you're more emotionally mature than him, and that could be a hurdle. And there's a big block. I mean, there's another person involved, and that could cause issues for a while to be, even if you do end up together. And finally, with these first five cards, we have your spiritual compatibility, and it's the Eight of Wands. I don't know if you can really see the image here, it's a little dark, but there's a lot of wild horses, and I think they're actually unicorns running through this field. As I said earlier, wands are a very passionate suit, and there's a ton of passion between you two. The Eight of Wands represents moving forward quickly. You two are compatible spiritually, and there's a lot of passion and desire on both your parts to move forward right away. All right, so now comes the advice cards and the what's to come. All right, so we have three cards here. In fact, I'm just going to move this over a little bit so that we can, there we go, see the cards. All right, so we have Temperance, the Five of Wands, another Wands card, and the Four of Cups. Okay. So here we're seeing a progression of events. Now, I know you want to be super active with this and jump forward, as the Eight of Wands indicates. But the Temperance card that indicates that you should move forward cautiously. Definitely move forward for sure, but inch your way. Be calm and collected, not brazen. He needs to know your feelings and intentions and your hope in moving forward. So step forward, but don't jump off the cliff. There's a reason this card showed up and not the fool who leaps before he looks. Go forward, but keep a level head. And it's temperance is just think logically about this. There's a big connection between Temperance and the Star. They're both pouring cups. She's got uh, one cup is fiery, one cup's water. It's very even keeled. There's there's a there's a lot of logical calmness in the Temperance, moving forward, but being cautious about it. Don't jump off the cliff. Okay, but despite the calmness of Temperance, um, conflict is definitely coming. Conflict is coming. The Five of Wands indicates major conflict, argument, competition. You're going to feel like you're competing with this other person. And once the truth is out there, there will be some major issues between you two, and I mean you and her. But what I also see here is a connection with this card and the next card. Um, the conflict isn't just between you and her, it's between her and him. And that's what we see in the Four of Cups here. This person is you standing off on the sidelines while they hash it out, while they work out whatever it is that they're going to work out. Whether that's them breaking up or staying together. And unfortunately, this is something you can't affect. You have to stay on the sidelines for this and just hope for the best, because that's what Four of Cups represents. It's a dreamy card. It represents your dreams and hopes, but you dreaming about them instead of acting on them. And you have to be on the sidelines for this and hope for the best and let them hash it out. The potential relationship between you two really depends greatly on him and her and whether they will stay. So, if he decides to stay with her, then you know that despite your strong physical compatibility, it's time for you to move on and move on to someone who's more emotionally mature. So, there you go. It really greatly depends on him stepping forward and whether he's going to break it off with this other person and decide to move forward with you, or if he's going to stay with this other person despite the fact that you two are quite compatible. I hope this has helped you and brought some clarity to this situation. Um, I know there's a lot of movement you want to do with this, move forward, but you have to move forward logically, allow what's going to happen, and go forward from there. All right, thank you so much, and I hope this helped. Blessed be.